Hey, today I'm setting up a table for version 3. I'm doing this as an example table, and I'm also going to play a game on it at some point. So I'm going to talk you through the thought process that goes into building that table. You guys seem to like that shit. And I'm going to be using the Danish Bold Action Association's library table, which is here because I'm working on it, and this was mostly donated to me by Danny from Tabletopper. So again, this is the Danish Bold Action Association library table. It's not done yet. I'm still working on the runes, but it will be done. Now, in version 2, I had, for the tournaments that I ran, I had a saying that was, you need between 13 and 16 pieces of terrain for the table. Now, what was a piece of terrain? Well, it was a ruined base like this. That was one piece of terrain. Or I'll grab my box of linear obstacles here. Or 2 to 3 pieces of linear obstacle. That could also be a piece of terrain. So these could both actually count as a piece of terrain. So between 13 and 16 pieces was optimal for version 2. Now, when we transitioned to version 3, that sort of changed because one of the things that version 3 did was it made it easier to hit when you're shooting, right? No longer do you get -1 for being small team, down, -2, long range, -1. So it was quite often in version 2 that you were rolling to see if you were hitting on 7s. Now, most of the time, you're hitting on 4s. Which means that you will hit the opponent, which means that shooting has become much stronger. In order to balance this, and this is not just me saying it, it is also Wall of the Games. Marcus Vine, go and see my interview with him. He's said it on multiple podcasts. In order to balance that, we need more terrain on the tables. So for me, that means that instead of 13 to 16 pieces of terrain, I am now going to say that at my tables, we need 16 to 20 pieces of terrain. So I'm going to try and show you what that looks like here. So 1, 2, 3, maybe. This is a double ruin that can be like single pieces or put together. 3. And I'm going to take down a bunch of ruins because we need line of sight blockers on terrain. This, I'll do that as 1. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a pretty nice one. A big one. 9, 10. And I'll take a few more. 11, 12. Now, at this point, I have quite a lot of line of sight blockers. I need something else as well, right? So, I'll grab a single intact house from the Bold Action library. That is 13 pieces of terrain. We need something else. I recently got this, which is a mouse mat road. I'm going to use that just because it's nice and it's new. Does that count as terrain? Maybe. I'm not gonna use it as terrain, but you know, at some point I'm going to decorate the table using my box of extra bits. I have like a bunch of stuff, signposts, all that. But I don't count that as terrain because it's not actually going to, it's just going to make the table pretty, right? So let me set up this and then we'll go back, and I think I need more soft cover and I need more hard cover as well. So, where do we set up this? For me, I think one of the things that we need to do is we need to have some sort of line of sight blockers in the center, okay? Now, and we need this to sort of still be working. A lot of people like to set up in diagonals, and I can get with that. I like diagonals as much as the next person here. So maybe we're setting up, and I'm trying to make sure that there are still some lines of sight, but at the same time I also want there to be things that are blocked. Right, like this. So maybe, you know, it's a street in a ruined city somewhere that we have here. And at this point you can see this is all pretty much locked down. There's a lot of blocked line of sight here. So I'm going to try and make sure that there's something on the other side as well. But we still need to have some of it open enough that, you know, it's not a massive deterring. I don't want to deter people who bring artillery pieces. They still need to be able to feel those, right? Maybe a ruin down here as well. And you know what? I think a single piece over here, that makes sense. Right. So that's the basis. This is what I wanted to block off. Now, there are still a couple of places that are fairly open, but I'm going to deal with those in a minute. Right now, I want to put down where I want there to be actual road on this table. So, these mouse mats from Deep Cut Studios, really cool. They've got, you know, printed cobblestones. Love them. It's a really long piece here, really long. I think that can go down this central bit. That works. We'll get a road going down there, do something with like in front of these, and I'll do a courtyard style thing in here. Maybe make this into sort of a little park, I think. Right. Now, there is a problem, of course, with this road. It becomes a very long line of sight and it's very open. So at some point we'll need to do something to block it off. But we can work with that, right? Now, here on in, I think we need to have some hardcover, some linear obstacles. So I'm getting out my box of linear obstacles. Love this box. So let me start by making this this little park here. A park needs something that's a little decorated. I've got these lovely, don't know if you can see them. Right? They could work as a park fence, I guess. And maybe a couple of these as well. Now there are going to be a lot of lines here where, you know, something is open and So like all of these lines where there are roads or what have you, much of it is going to be blocked off in a minute, but there are going to be a lot of them. But that's how a city works, isn't it? Now, one thing we can do is we can block off some, like we can make a little bit of a backyard at some of these places. Now, it doesn't really matter that it's open here at the end. Why not? Because most of the time people are going to work their way in from here. So it's really that way that counts. The only thing that really matters. So that's why I do that. One more here. Maybe something over there, I think. But is it going to be more of this? I'm gonna push this a little bit. No reason to like stick to your guns and say it has to be like here. Right, I like that. Creates a little bit of hard cover there. Right. I may go back with some linear obstacles in a minute, but right now I think I like this. So how much was that? We started out with, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 pieces of terrain. 13, 14, 15. Right. We can sort of do 5 more pieces of terrain. I think something now that is open but still can do some cover would be nice. So I have my box of rubble and stuff. These, by the way, are just CD bases that I have rubbled up. In this one, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little bit of barbed wire on top of it. Love that. That creates a little bit of rough ground around the cityscape. And these I usually just play like patches of rough ground, but you can see through them, right? So so they give a little bit of hard cover sometimes, and make sure that it's a little bit more difficult to move around. And so here. Patches of rough ground, patches of rough ground. These are, by the way, again, rubbles, but MDF based, and they have straight lines so that they can go against a building. If I want to create a patch of rubble that is sort of leaning against a building, like that. Rubble. And rubble. Okay. So that is at least 2 more pieces of terrain. We're at 17. I can do 3 more, and then I should really start thinking about maybe not doing more. I personally like quite a lot of terrain on my tables. I don't know how about you guys, but I like having a lot of terrain. So I think I will do a little tree in the park here. central tree there, that works. So that corner is pretty open, that corner is pretty open, and the rest is sort of taken care of. So we need to do something with those two corners. What should we do? What should we do? I think some bushes at the end here, so that it seems like the park sort of continues. That at least will give some soft cover areas as well, which works nicely. Yeah, that works. That area over there needs something. That was one more, so we're at 18, I think. And then we need just this area here. Something needs to happen there. Let's do that. So I have bits and pieces that could be like somebody was holding a market or something at one point. I'll put these down. Right. That looks fun. That was 19 pieces. Now, the final piece I'm going to count for 20 is going to be decoration. So I'm grabbing my box of decoration here. I have got lamp posts. Because sometimes these decoration pieces, they actually give a little bit of cover, right? I'm going to put down a few lamp posts. Some signs, that's always nice. What else do we have? Something to block that road. We need that, right? Ooh, these are not painted, but I got these really nice 3D prints of urban barricades. So I am in the process of painting them. You can see they've got the base coat, but that could really easily go down here and block the road so that the road doesn't run all the way straight. A few more signs, I think. Some of these signs are kind of fun. So I have these here. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't know what an HVPI is, but... And then these two are mine signs. Right. I'm going to put them up here to remind everyone that it's dangerous. Right. One of the things I often do when it's around this time of year, Christmas time, I go and I look for things for Christmassy villages. Because if it's in something that could be approximate the right scale, I snatch it up and I buy it. And look at this one. It's a little big, but who cares? And these wicker baskets, out of scale, but it doesn't matter because it looks kind of cool still. It looks like someone could have put these there, right? It's not that bad. So that was more or less it, what I wanted to put down decorations to make it prettified. And we've got all we needed for that. Now I just need one final thing, and that is to make all the ruins pretty. And I know people voted on the project, but because the project is not done, I'm going to do it the way that I suggested in that video. I have a box here of MDF cut-offs, and I'm just going to put them down in the runes. At some point, I am going to follow the majority of people who said, don't do this, and instead make it fixed so that it's permanent, and I will do that. But right now, this is not permanent, and I am going to game on this table. I'm just going to do this. Just give it quite a destroyed look, which when I do the basis of these runes, I am going to replicate this look. I'm going to put so much stuff in them. And I know it makes it less playable, I don't care. I like it like this. I like my runes to look realistic. It's one of the things that drew a lot of us to this game, isn't it? That the tables look so they look so realistic. And one of the things you can do is you can just create extra piles of rubble, right? If you think you need some extra rubble somewhere, just... I learned this trick, by the way, from Jan Petersen, who often does this with his tables. He does it with like small stones and actual rubble, whereas I'm just using MDF products. And these could be played like rough ground. Like it's a little pile of rubble, right? So that is it. That is my suggestion for what to put on a table. Now, there are still good lines of sight. If I put a howitzer or something down here along this road, it's pretty good. It's got a good line of sight. You can also push something up here, gets good line of sight. But there is a lot more line of sight blockers than we're used to, and there's a lot more cover than we're used to. But this is what I am going to use for the next few games here, and this is also the density that I'm aiming for my upcoming tournament called Winter War in February, where this is the density that we are going to use on the tables. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.